There are towns in the American Southwest where a retiree can live on around $1,500 a month and still wake up to red rock and open sky. Not a trailer in the middle of nowhere. Real towns, with theaters and hospitals and walkable downtowns, wrapped in some of the most beautiful country in America. Here is what nobody tells you about retirement. You have been sold two options, an expensive condo in Florida or a golf course in Arizona, and both are getting pricier and more crowded every year. But scattered across this country are gorgeous little towns most people have never heard of, where the views are enormous and the cost of living is small. A place this beautiful, and you could actually afford to live here. Today we are counting down 10 of them, all the way to Colorado wine country at number 1. Number 10, Georgetown, Texas. Just 28 miles up the highway from Austin sits a town built around what Texas Highways magazine calls the most beautiful town square in the state, at a fraction of Austin's price. Georgetown's square wraps a grand Victorian courthouse in preserved 19th century storefronts, now full of cafes, boutiques, and a restored theater, with more than 40 parks and the San Gabriel River running right through town. Cool off at the Blue Hole, a spring-fed swimming lagoon a short walk from the square, or wander the historic district under the live oaks. Homes here run well below what the same lifestyle costs in Austin. The cost of living sits about 10% under the national average, and the town has become such a retirement magnet that it holds the very first Sun City community ever built in Texas. Spend a morning on that square, coffee in hand, the courthouse clock tower rising over the rooftops. Big city Austin close enough to visit but far enough to forget. Georgetown gives you a Texas square. The next one gives you a river and a big city skyline for free. Number 9, Bellevue, Kentucky. For the price of a modest apartment, you can wake up every morning to the Cincinnati skyline glowing across the Ohio River. Bellevue sits right on the southern bank, a tiny town of about 6,000 people founded in 1870, and it has quietly ranked among the best places to retire in the country. Its historic districts along Fairfield Avenue are packed with preserved Victorian buildings, local boutiques, and Schneider's Sweet Shop, making handmade chocolates since 1939. Rents run near $1,600, and some of the best hospitals in the Midwest are minutes across the bridge. Walk down to Bellevue Beach Park as the sun sets, and watch the skyline light up across the water, a free show every single night. A river and a skyline. The next one trades them for the Blue Ridge Mountains, and a theater older than most of Hollywood. Number 8, Abingdon, Virginia. Tucked into the Blue Ridge Mountains of southwestern Virginia, a town of about 8,000 runs the oldest professional theater in America. The Barter Theater opened during the Depression when people paid for their tickets with produce, and today it is the official state theater of Virginia. Abingdon's 20-block historic district is lined with restored brick and Victorian buildings, and the 34-mile Virginia Creeper Trail, an old railroad bed turned gentle path, starts right in the middle of town. The cost of living here runs about 8% below the national average. Ride the Creeper Trail under a canopy of trees in the morning, then catch a matinee that evening in a theater where Gregory Peck once performed, a place this rich in character, and you could actually afford to live here. Abingdon gives you the Blue Ridge, the next one gives you Red Rock, and a Shakespeare festival in the desert. Number 7, Cedar City, Utah. Remember that red rock from the beginning, this is where it lives. Cedar City sits at nearly 6,000 feet in southern Utah between a high plateau and the Red Rock Desert, and it is the gateway most people use to reach Cedar Breaks, a 10,000-foot amphitheater of glowing orange stone with Zion and Bryce Canyon, both within a couple of hours. For a town this surrounded by national parks, the cost of living runs a few percent below the national average, and rentals often land right around $1,500 a month. It is also a college town with a surprise, the Tony Award-winning Utah Shakespeare Festival, which fills the summer. Hike a Red Rock Trail 10 minutes from your driveway, then watch a play under the evening sky. Cedar City runs on desert light. The next one wraps a whole town in the Green Mountains of Vermont. Number 6, Rutland, Vermont. Everyone assumes Vermont is priced only for the wealthy, and then there is Rutland, where homes sell for barely half the state's going rate. This is the hub of the Green Mountains, a walkable little city with a historic downtown, the century-old Paramount Theater still hosting shows, and Pine Hill Park's wooded trails right inside the city limits. Just east rises Killington, the biggest ski mountain in the east, with a 3,000-foot vertical drop, and the Green Mountain National Forest sits at Rutland's back door. The median home runs around $245,000, well under the state average, which in a place this beautiful feels almost like a loophole. Walk a brick sidewalk downtown on an October afternoon, the hills at the end of the street blazing gold, and the appeal is obvious. Rutland gives you the Green Mountains. The next one trades them for the desert and a wall of 9,000-foot peaks that catches fire at sunrise. Number 5. Las Cruces, New Mexico. There is a warm, sun-soaked city in southern New Mexico, sitting right at the foot of the jagged Ogden Mountains, where the typical home still costs well under $300,000. Las Cruces gets more than 300 days of sunshine a year. Its cost of living runs around 16 to 20% below the national average, and the Ogden Mountains, rising to nearly 9,000 feet, are protected as a national monument right on the city's doorstep. At its heart sits the historic plaza of Old Mesilla, where the Godston Purchase was signed in 1854. Its adobe buildings still ringing a classic southwestern square full of galleries and chili-laced restaurants. New Mexico State University keeps a full calendar of concerts and theater, and the white gypsum dunes of White Sands are less than an hour east. Walk that plaza at golden hour as the mountains behind town glow orange, warm air, huge skies, and hardly a crowd in sight. A place this striking, and you could actually afford to live here. The next one climbs 107 steps to the most photographed courthouse in North Carolina. Number 4. Sylva, North Carolina. At the foot of the Great Smoky Mountains sits a town locals quietly call the Asheville Alternative, all the mountain charm at a fraction of the price. Sylva's main street is packed with breweries, bookshops, and galleries, and it has been named one of the cutest main streets in America. Yet the median home runs around $290,000, a real discount to nearby Asheville. Above it all stands the old Jackson County Courthouse, the most photographed in the state, reached by climbing 107 steps from Main Street. The Blue Ridge Parkway and the Great Smoky Mountains are both about 20 minutes away, and there is a hospital right in town. Climb those steps and turn around, a little breathless, and the whole town spreads out below you against a wall of green. Sylva sits deep in the Smokies. The next one puts a ski resort and a historic downtown an hour from Salt Lake City. Number 3. Ogden, Utah. Less than an hour from Salt Lake City is a mountain town with a genuine historic downtown, world-class skiing, and thousands of acres of lakes at its doorstep. Ogden grew up as a railroad town, and its restored historic 25th Street is full of art, dining, and old brick storefronts, with the Wasatch Range rising straight up behind them. Powder Mountain and Snow Basin, two of the best ski resorts in the country, are a short drive away, and 13,000 acres of nearby lakes and rivers keep the fishing and paddling going all summer. Rents run near $1,300 a month, and healthcare costs come in below average. Walk 25th Street with those peaks looming over the rooftops, a trailhead minutes away in almost any direction. Ogden gives you the mountains. The next one gives you a national park you can soak in. Number 2. Hot Springs, Arkansas. You can retire in a town built around a national park, where the main street is a row of grand old bathhouses fed by natural hot springs you can still soak in today. Hot Springs sits in the Ouachita Mountains, and Bathhouse Row, with 8 beautiful turn-of-the-century buildings, is fed by around 800,000 gallons of spring water at 143 degrees every single day. The town of about 38,000 is wrapped in 5 lakes and rolling hills. The median home runs near $245,000. The cost of living is roughly 30% below the national average, and Arkansas does not tax Social Security. The Buckstaff Bathhouse has run without a break since 1912. Ease into that steaming mineral water in a century-old marble hall, a national park literally out the front door, and try to name a better way to spend an afternoon in retirement. A place like this, and you could actually afford to live here. Before we get to number 1, if you would rather picture your own retirement somewhere beautiful you can actually afford than keep scrolling past the same overpriced hotspots, subscribe. This channel is basically your map to them. Number 1. Grand Junction, Colorado. Everyone believes retiring in Colorado means spending a fortune. Grand Junction quietly proves them wrong. This western slope town sits in the heart of Colorado's wine country, with the Red Rock Canyons of Colorado National Monument rising right at the edge of town. 32 miles of canyon rim you can hike almost from your doorstep. Downtown is full of local breweries and shops, The Palisade Wine Trail is about 15 minutes away, and the lower elevation means winters here are far gentler than the postcard Colorado you are picturing. Retirement homes run roughly between $280,000 and $480,000, a fraction of what the same lifestyle costs in Aspen or the Front Range, and Colorado fully exempts Social Security from state tax. Stand on a rim trail at golden hour as the Red Canyons drop away below you, a glass of local wine waiting back in town, and it is hard to believe this is the affordable option. This is Colorado on a budget you did not think was possible. So here is what all 10 of these towns share. Not one asks you to choose between a place you can afford and a place worth waking up in. That is the quiet secret hiding in plain sight across America. While everyone else fights over the same crowded, expensive corners of Florida and Arizona, there are river towns and mountain towns and red rock towns scattered from Vermont to Colorado where the scenery is enormous and the price is not. A view like this, and you could actually afford to wake up to it every single morning. So pick one, circle it on a map, plan a slow drive out to see it in person, and imagine your mornings there, coffee in hand, somewhere genuinely beautiful you never knew was within reach. If this is the kind of retirement you would rather dream about than settle for, like this video and subscribe, and I will keep finding these places for you.